covering the stories that impact your life, your town, your state, and your future. This is the Means Report with your host, Brad Means.
Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to the Means Report. We certainly appreciate you spending part of your day with us, where today we are tackling the big issues in Augusta, and we have a couple of experts on those issues to walk us through it. We're going to catch up with a couple of our commissioners, veterans of the Means Report. We're so glad that they came back to see us again today, and they'll talk about all the things that they work on the commission, the bigger issues that impact all of us, and then as always, we'll wrap up the Means Report with ways that you can stay in touch and help us get more great guests. Like our first one, she is the District 2 Commissioner on the Augusta Commission, Stacy Pulliam. As I mentioned, returning to the Means Report. It's been too long since we've had you. And Commissioner Pulliam, thanks for coming back.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so here we are. Enough time has passed since our last interview that you're now just past the halfway point of your term. You've been there 2-ish years. Just generally, how are things going? How do you like being in commissioner? Is it all you dreamed of, et cetera?
It is.
Yeah.
I absolutely like it. So my expectations was to make sure I was going to be able to help people.
Yep.
And so far I'm doing that. So it's going great.
I remember you said that when you were here last time, that just kind of constituent services was what you were all about. Does your phone ring off the hook? Do you get nonstop texts? Is it like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like that for all of my colleagues, though. So it's not just me. Some of us may get more calls than others. I'm not sitting there looking at the analytics on everything. But yes, we're constantly getting calls, emails, text messages. But it's all in the work that we do.
Yeah, you're right. It's part of it. And it's good of you to say that. Commissioner Jordan Johnson is our next guest on the Means Report. He'll be here for our second segment. And I'll probably ask him this same thing. It has to do with hurricane cleanup. That's been our focus, obviously, since September 27th. In your opinion, how's that going? Is it where it needs to be?
Absolutely. You know, you don't know until you're in that situation. No one planned for this. We didn't even know this was coming. Everyone was so shocked. When I woke up that morning and I had trees on my house, I was like, thank you, Lord, that I'm still alive. Because one literally fell right on top of me and my son, but it didn't break through. I believe that ISM, who is the contractor that is pretty much doing the project management, they're doing an amazing job, especially if we compare the pickup to what our ice storm was. We're ahead of schedule, but there's so many different variables. It's not just them. It's the contractors that, they're overseeing. Our engineering department's working great with them. Our city administrator, our mayor, everyone's working together. So I believe the cleanup is going great.
Okay, full stop. Were you in your bed? Were you in your son's room that night? What happened?
So my son came in my room and he was like, Mommy, the lights went off. And I said, yeah, I saw the lights flicker. And Brad, if I can be completely transparent, I was like, Lord, Holy Spirit, what's going on? And I had this calming peace that you're not going to get hurt. Well, I thought you're not going to get hurt meant nothing was going to happen. When I woke up and went outside and saw 2 trees on top of my house, 3 on top of my barn, 1 on top of my chicken coop, 1 in my driveway, I was like, there's no way this happened and we're still alive.
Yeah.
So just ever so grateful. But so many people made it out. Unfortunately, some lost their life. But, we're moving forward and we're encouraging each other as a community.
Well, I join you in thanking God for your safety and your family's safety, and certainly we continue to pray for those whose outcomes were different. What about our Masters visitors? I often think about them because we're so close to that tournament now. Do you think they'll be able to instantly notice that something's different in our town, or has the cleanup gotten past a point where perhaps they don't notice?
They'll be able to tell because you're looking around town and you're like, wait, there used to be a whole tree line right here. Yeah. I didn't even know that house was there. And I'm constantly discovering houses as I ride down Walton Way. I'm like, there was a house there?
The same way. Yeah, everything's just air now.
Right, absolutely. So they'll be able to tell that there's some change. Those that venture out more will be able to see even more missing, but they'll also, I believe it's going to give them a heart for us to know that, hey, they made it through this storm
Yeah.
and we're still going. And our mayor and our administrator are so diligent in making sure, all of the commissioners are, and making sure that, we're making every effort possible so that it doesn't look as displaced as it may.
Let's talk about the homestead exemption issue that was before the commission, and we could spend 10 shows trying to explain what this is. I know it's confusing, but I do know the commission opted out of this homestead exemption. Your thoughts on the opting out, and if homeowners should be concerned about their property taxes because of that?
My belief is no, they should not be concerned. We had, I think it was an 8-2 vote, and everyone had their reason for voting the way they voted. And they were good reasons. I remember being interviewed right before we went in, and I said, I don't know, I've got to finish hearing the discussion. And so I went in thinking I was going to vote one way, and I voted a different way. And it was honestly my colleague, Commissioner Mayor Pro Tem Guilfoyle, that said, I don't want the state to be in control of what we're allowed to do. I want some autonomy here. And that clicked with me. I was like, we can do this. I remember having discussions with both our tax commissioner as well as our tax assessor, that there are already counties that have homestead exemptions that are unique to that county. So it's something that we can do. Our team is so diligent in finding ways to come up with other homestead exemptions that can either be floating or afloat or freeze. So learning those terms, but they are going to fit Augusta, Richmond County's needs.
And so you voted, yes, let's opt out.
Yes, okay. I did. Yeah. I did, based on that, because I want us to be able to craft our own language. And I know that we are very well capable of doing that. So fingers crossed that the state approves what we're going to submit.
Okay, I love that you led off this interview by talking about your commitment to the people in your district and staying in touch with them and helping them. You recently had a community breakfast that was all about that. How'd your breakfast go, and were you able to connect with voters on that day?
Yes, yes. I always connect with my voters.
No, you do. You're great at it.
So, yes. But the breakfast was great. What I like to bring to my breakfasts is not only what's going on in our local government, but also connecting them to resources that they can use. That's what I promised to do when I ran for office, and that's what I want to continue to do. So we had individuals giving information about Georgia Power bills and how to get, somewhat of a relief of some sort for that bill. And that's really important, to my constituents. It's important to all of Augusta, right? So having that information readily available is it's invaluable. It really is.
What else did they bring to you? Please help me with my power bill. Please fix my potholes. What concerns are out there? Yes,
flooding is still a concern in my district. But engineering as well as utilities, they are working really hard on that. We've got some studies that are still going on, and it's going to hopefully find ways to eliminate or to go back and rebuild, restructure things so that flooding is not an issue. But this is something that's been going on for years. So I may not be able to fix it in the 3 years, but even Dr. Malik, when he got up to present, our director for engineering, he said, trust me, your commissioner is always in my inbox, because I'm consistently wanting to know which one of my streets are going to get repaired. Yeah. This is important. I need you to clean up this blight. And I'm so excited to report that in 2023, it was about 53 homes that were demolished. In 2024, 69.
Okay, that's huge.
That's really huge.
Yeah. That makes a difference. So, okay, if we can get District 2 to drain better, if we can get less blight, is that kind of what you'd like to see going forward, more of that? What are some things you'd like to see that make District 2 shine? Yes, definitely those things. We need more housing. As I talk to the individuals in my district, we want more walkable communities where you can live, work, and play. That's the model that we're seeing across our nation, but definitely in our neighboring counties. So that's really important. So how do we do that? We bring our department heads together so we can collectively come up with a way to make this happen. Administrator Allen, she just got in, but she's open to hearing our ideas in the ways that, we want to put things together. And that's very helpful. I'll ask Commissioner Johnson this as well. How's it going with the mayor's vote? Has that really changed anything on the commission? Have there been moments where he casts a vote and you go, oh, wow, that's different than it used to be?
It's like that for all of my colleagues, Brad.
Yeah.
You know, it really is.
I mean, you never know, right?
You never know. You don't always agree. But what I want to believe and what I do believe is that hopefully everyone is looking out for those that they serve. And so we serve our individual communities, our districts, but we've got to come together. And I believe we are really getting to that point. If you look at how many times we vote together, we've got to come together for Augusta, Richmond County as a whole. But don't be confused. You do represent those individuals that elected you into that office.
Let me ask you about a couple of things that have been in the headlines. These are historic buildings in Augusta and buildings with an uncertain future. The former First Baptist Church building downtown comes to mind. The fire station at Dias Park comes to mind. What do you think about efforts to demolish buildings like these and move on? Sometimes, is it just appropriate to do that, or should we always try to preserve every building?
So I believe that comes down to a collective plan for that community, whatever that community is. When we look overseas and we look at, certain countries, that's all you see is old buildings when you go to those countries. When we look at certain areas here, that's all you see. So preservation is very important. I believe that that community has to come together and they have to be able to say, this is what is important for us. But let's make sure that we're not picking and choosing. You see what I'm saying? Because different things are going to be important to different groups of people.
You're right. It just depends on the community surrounding that structure. I'm out of questions. That's perfect timing. Our segment is over, but I need you to come back soon so we can continue to talk about what's going on in Augusta.
Absolutely. I appreciate being here. And if I could encourage everyone, please support the events in our city. People are always saying there's nothing to do. That is not true.
It's not true.
Go on Facebook. There's even a Mardi Gras parade this weekend. We've got St. Patrick's Day coming up. So get out and support, guys.
I agree. Commissioner Stacy Pulliam, District 2, thanks for all you do for our town.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. When we come back, Commissioner Pulliam's colleague, Commissioner Jordan Johnson, representing District 1 on the Means Report.